Hey everybody, and welcome back to Droobz Vids, and today we're going to be taking a closer look at the Jotaro Kujo Super Action Statue. So Jotaro Kujo Super Action Statue. Man, I've been waiting to open this thing up. It is going to be awesome. So a few things about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Not really bizarre, especially not when Jotaro is the main protagonist there, but yeah, it's actually a really nice story because he's basically trying to save his mother from dying, but he's got to go defeat the evil Dio. But yeah, this thing is pretty awesome. Definitely get some really cool accessories here, a lot of hands, and you get the Yari Yari Dese little speech bubble there from the manga, so that's cool. And yeah, pretty simple figure here. It's actually branded by Lucky Land Communications and Medicos here. But it's funny because Good Smile is the one that actually does make this, so we should be able to expect a quality like a Figma here. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. And Jotaro Kujo is probably my favorite person, and Jotaro Kujo is the main protagonist from the Stardust Crusaders arc, so definitely check that out because you will not be disappointed. Like I said, not too many accessories. You do definitely get a lot of different body parts here. Let's go ahead and just take this blister pack off so we can take a look at everything we get, and I could immediately tell that the paint, especially on the hands and stuff, look really nice. And this is probably one of the best hands in here, the classic Jotaro finger point there. Definitely going to be using that one, but if you could just take a look at the paint, they did a fantastic job kind of just, you know, getting all that texture in there and the different shadowing. That looks really nice. Definitely a great job there. So yeah, we got tons of different hand sculpts here for different situations. Definitely pretty cool. So, you know, you could have him in a bunch of different poses if you want to. And I believe that these little like half hands there, or so it can look like he has his hands in his pockets. So that is a nice little addition as well. We do get an extra head sculpt, but I'm not quite sure if this is different. Actually, it is from the one that's on there. This kind of has a little smirk face on. So that is pretty cool. The paint quality, fantastic. Looks really nice. They did a great job with the paint on this. That is cool. So let's go ahead and get into this figure here. Man, pretty excited to see how this guy looks in person. And you know, he's got a lot of awesome detail. You can already see here he has his belt. One of the main things that does stand out about him, you know, is just this color here. He has these colors, and that's really what you see of him because he mainly wears black. And yeah, so this is pretty cool. This is actually a little loose chain there, so that is awesome. You can already see all the ab crunch we get right there alone. That is really nice. We got some decent shoulder movement here, as well as some elbow movement, and then we got our hand on ball joints there, so that is a nice touch. And as far as our legs go, we have movement at the upper thigh, so you can move his leg out, you can move it in as much as you want, but it will not rotate. Well, actually it will rotate all the way around if that's what you're into. But we got our leg here, or a knee, and that's actually on a double joint, so you could get some really dynamic poses with him there, so that's nice to see. You got a joint at the ankle as well, and at the tips of the toes here, so you could pose those up and down, you can see here. And what's really interesting is the cape on the back. So this is the back of the figure here, and the cape is actually on a hinge joint too, so you could pose that up if you're doing something kind of crazy here. So that's actually something pretty awesome, because usually with capes you tend to just get a one full piece there with no posability, so that is actually a really nice touch to be able to do that. I believe those extra pieces here are for the legs, because if you try to get it too high, you can see it kind of goes into his waist there, so I think those extra pieces probably, so you could remove that and then put the other one on, so that way you could get a little bit more dynamic pose out of it. So yeah, let's go ahead and check those out real quick, because they actually do, yeah, you can see here in the bag. Well, I'm going to get out the bag for you real quick. So these do look like they're a little bit smaller here, and they just fall out of the pack. But as you can see there, we do, actually they look a little bit bigger, so that's odd. Let's go ahead and try one on there, and it's probably going to be this one. So maybe it's, I'm not sure. I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm saying right now, but let's go ahead and get this one on and see how that looks. Real simple, just kind of snap it in there, make sure it's secure, And I guess, well, yeah, this little gap here, even though it's a little bit bigger, you have this little gap to kind of give you a little bit more room there. So that's nice to know. But I'll probably just stick with the original ones because I feel like they do look a little bit cleaner on there. Let's go ahead and talk about the head too, because at the neck you do got quite a bit of movement. You can see the joint there. So yeah, you can move it left and right here, which is really nice. You can actually exorcist him and go all the way around if you want to. And yeah, pretty good articulation there at the head. A lot of figures, you know, tend not to get too much articulation, so that's nice. We're just taking a quick look here at the difference in the head sculpts. So yeah, you got the one there on the left, that's his normal expression that you see, and then you got the one on the right that has a little smirk there that you don't typically see him have because he kind of just has one expression. So yeah, definitely cool to have an extra one, but yeah, it's just kind of a little grin there that you don't really notice him smiling. Looks really similar there to his other face. So let's go ahead and look at what we get and everything else here. It does look like we come with an instruction booklet. So yeah, you got all the kind of instructions there to tell you what's going on with it. So that's really nice, and you know, good to have if you ever need it. In this bag we actually have a JoJo stand, which is nice. So it's actual branded stand there. Hopefully the camera picks that up, the logo there of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So that is a really nice looking stand, because most Figmas and figures like that don't really get that cool branded stand like that. So that's really nice that it came with it. Sometimes you do see it, but it's kind of like a pre-order bonus or something like that. We definitely got to check out our little speech bubble here. So let's move this out the way. And yeah, we got a little stand here for the speech bubble as well. But taking a look at the speech bubble itself, but it looks like you can only actually have either this on the stand or have him in a dynamic pose. So that's a little unfortunate, but not really, because you only really see him doing this when he's pointing somebody out and giving them the good grief there before they get beat down. Well, actually that is upside down. Man, I am terrible at this. So there we go. That's what it would look like right side up. And I really am hoping that this figure is balanced enough to be able to not have to use the stand, and that will just be fantastic because I have some ideas for him and it'll be really cool. And the one thing we didn't mention was the retail price for this figure, but we'll get into that in a minute. But let me go ahead and hit you guys with a few poses, and I will see you after that.
You can't see with your eyes, and I got something you can't define.
So that was the JoJo Super Action statue of Jotaro here, and man, this thing is super cool. I can't get over it. It is just amazing, especially this cape that articulates, or the coat I should say. You know, it kind of looks like a cape, but it's definitely his little jacket there, his school jacket. So yeah, definitely a super awesome looking figure. And the articulation is fantastic. You got double joints at the elbows and the knees. Really cool. And there's one thing I did forget to mention about the extra pant legs, that while they did offer you a little bit more room gap wise for some more posing, they're actually meant to be used for the hands in the pocket there. So I did try to put the hands in the pockets on the regular ones and they won't fit. So you're definitely going to have to use the extra ones if you want to have poses with either of his hands or his pockets or both of them. So keep that in mind if you are looking at picking this figure up. And the other thing I didn't mention was the retail price of a figure like this. And they do have several figures from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And I'm not sure if I can get any more. If anything, I'll probably end up getting the Star Platinum, which is his stand. So I don't want to go too far into the show. For those of you that haven't watched it, just know that they make another figure that goes perfectly with this one. But yeah, so retail pricing for this guy runs about $80 to $90. So I found it locally here. And do I think it's worth it at that price point? Definitely, especially if you're a fan of the show. This is probably one of the most premium figures of a JoJo Bizarre Adventure character that you could get. I know they do make Nendoroids of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure characters, but at the same time, having this sort of 1/12 scale actual figure of him that he's not, you know, distorted and chibi or anything is awesome. I really do like this figure. And unfortunately, he will have to stay on the stand just because he wasn't actually stable enough without it to stand up on his own. I did manage at one point to get him to stand up on his own, but he fell over almost immediately. So that's another thing to keep in mind if you are shopping for this figure. So let me know down in the comments below what you think of the Super Action statue. That's gonna wrap it up for this video, guys. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video.